Welcome back. All right, so it's been a relatively eventful evening in the house as we found out why our rabbit was really cranky. So there's going to be baby rabbit videos on the Entertainment Guy, and sadly that means that the male bunny's got to go get fixed now. So yeah, but at least now we know why she was so cranky and growly yesterday. Like, what is going on with her? She's so cranky. But now we know. All right. So back to hockey and Carolina and Chicago. This has to feel like one that got away for the Hawks. The Hawks need to start stringing some wins together. And it was Anderson versus Fleury, and this was a pretty good goaltending battle for a while. DeBrincat scores early from Kane and Taves at 1:35, and it was on a nice stretch pass for DeBrincat. Svechnikov almost came up with that there, and by him trying to grab the puck, it may have given it right to DeBrincat. So Chicago has an early lead, and they need that, right? Their confidence and all that, they need that. Kane's tried to answer. The Hawks clear it out. They get a power play. We get a shorthanded chance for Stahl. They couldn't set up that power play. They got no shots on it either. And then Stepan ties the game from DeAngelo and Svechnikov at 6:25. Really nice pass by DeAngelo. Stepan buries it. I think that's the second goal in just as many games. The Canes then get a power play. That did not succeed. The momentum, though, had shifted in Carolina's favor. The Hawks press with 5.5 minutes left. We get some unhappiness between these teams with 4 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first period. Kubalik then had a tip that went wide. The Canes couldn't bury one with 2:20 left, but it's 1-1 after one. Second period. Early Kane chance was stopped. Shot blocks favored the Hawks to this point of the game. They were very busy blocking out shots. And then Kane scores from Stillman and Entwistle at 2:49. It was a perfect tip shot by Patrick Kane, and that puts the Hawks ahead. Taves then had a chance that was blocked. Pesce was down. He lost an edge and crashed into the boards, and he would return to the game, but it was ugly when it took place. DeBrincat had a chance that was saved. Some good hard work by the Blackhawks in this game to this point. Really impressive. Canes had a 2-on-1. Gustafsson dives to defend that and make sure the pass doesn't go across. And then DeBrincat scores from Kurashev and Hardman at 8:24. This is the first time this season that the Carolina Hurricanes had been behind by 2 goals. And I started thinking, well, I guess Carolina's winning streak to start the season is done. It's been a nice winning streak. It's been good, right? But the Canes press, the Hawks couldn't change. The Hawks ended up clearing it out, but there was a 3-minute shift there where the Hawks were pinned down in their own zone. And you could feel like Carolina starting to roll here. Things get scrappy with 7:57 left, and then Jarvis scores from Stepan at 12:50. I believe that's his first NHL goal. The Canes then get a power play. It was unsuccessful, but that momentum had shifted again. This was a game of big momentum swings. So after 2 periods, it's 3-2 in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks. Third period, a 3-on-2 right off the opening face-off. Jesper Fast scores from Svechnikov and Slavin at 17 seconds, which took some of the wind out of that building. Those fans were very loud and very excited at 3-1, but when it became 3-3, you could tell they're thinking, we've seen this storyline a couple times this year. At least we had the lead, but this isn't working out. Nechas then scores from Aho and Barrett 3:26, and honestly, it was not a good goal. Goes right through the legs of Marc-Andre Fleury. He needs to stop that one. If Chicago's going to have any chance of going on a run, winning 4 in a row, 5 in a row, like they're going to need to go on a run like that to really get back into it. He can't be allowing that one. The Hawks then get a power play, and Kane couldn't bury one. It gets killed off. There was another power play for them. And then Bear takes a penalty. It was a 4-minute call. The Hawks get a power play. Initially, the announcers thought it was Slavin. I'm like, Slavin doesn't get 4 minutes in penalties. What are they talking about? And sure enough, it was Bear. They pulled the goalie. So it was a 6-on-4 in the final 3 minutes. With 2:02 left, the Hawks call a timeout. But they are unable to manufacture a goal and tie this one up. The Carolina Hurricanes win 4-3. They go to 9-0 on the season. It's not pretty, but it's a win. On the Chicago side, they dropped to 1-8-2, so now they've won 1 of their first 11. The shots, 12-6 Carolina in the first, 13-12 Carolina in the second. In the third, the shots were 12-7 in favor of Chicago. Final shots, 32-30 in favor of Carolina. Power plays, Carolina 0 for 2, Chicago 0 for 5. The hits were 27-22 in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks. Anderson, 27 saves on 30 shots. Fleury saved 28 out of 32. And again, that one goal, you can't have that at that point in the game. So, next up, the Nashville Predators and the Edmonton Oilers. Nashville, of course, played last night in Calgary, and I'm just going to say it. I think they played better tonight than they did in Calgary. However, the result's not the same. I think last night in Calgary, I think UC Saros stole that game, and tonight they kind of had one stolen from them by the goalie at the other end of the ice. So it's Ingram versus Koskinen. Early on, the Predators had a shot that just goes wide. Duchesne was stopped on a rush. Very good start for the Predators. You keep it at the other end of the ice as much as possible. Ingram was solid when tested early. The Oilers get a power play. Hyman was robbed on a cross-ice pass by Ingram. But again, this is the Oilers power play, so it scores. 2 seconds left in the power play. Draisaitl scores from Nugent-Hopkins and McDavid at 6:43. Nugent-Hopkins continues to just keep racking up assists. He may get 100 assists this year. Duchesne, though, scores from Cunnin 10 seconds later. So Nashville, to their credit, they go down, not for long. And it was a 2-on-1, and immediately after that, the Predators went for the lead. Ingram would save a shot from Barrie. Hyman was robbed again by Ingram. The zone time was near equal. However, the shots were very much in favor of the Oilers at that stage of the game. The Oilers' fourth line presses, Ekholm with some blocks there, and in the last minute, Nurse had a shot that was saved. So we go to the second period, tied. But that tie doesn't last. Yamamoto, who finally got his first goal in the last game, gets another one here from Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins at 1:27. So there's Nugent-Hopkins again with an assist, 2 of them tonight. And there was no chance for Ingram on that goal by Yamamoto. The Oilers then tried to add another. There was the press by the Preds. Carrier ends up hitting the post. Power play then for the Predators as well. That was unsuccessful. Cousins couldn't bury one. The Preds get another power play, also unsuccessful. The Oilers would get a power play, near miss for Draisaitl. Granlund had a shot that was saved at the other end. And hey, they killed one off. So when you manage to not allow goals on every power play by Edmonton, it kind of feels like that's an accomplishment, right? Shot blocking by the Oilers as the Predators press again. In the last minute, Puljujarvi fires one wide, but we go to the third period. It is only 2-1, and you feel like, okay, well, Nashville maybe, right? Early pressure by the Preds, and a really strong start from them, but you turn the puck over to McDavid, it goes to Draisaitl, and at 3:41, those two combined for the second time in the game, and it's a goal to make it 3-1. And then at 4:59, Shore scores his first of the season from Foegele and Barrie at 4:59. Barrie, that's his 400th National Hockey League point, so kudos to him on that. That was scored on a turnover as well. So all of a sudden, within a minute and 18 seconds, this goes from a 2-1 game to 4-1, and you know the Oilers are not losing a 3-goal lead in the third period. Draisaitl to McDavid, some magic again by them. Preds get a power play. That didn't work. They get another power play. They do score on this one. It's Johansson from Duchesne and Yossi at 15:59. That makes it 4-2. They pull the goalie. That just gives Puljujarvi the shot. The interesting thing is Draisaitl could have scored that and got the hat trick. He makes the unselfish play, gets it to Puljujarvi. Puljujarvi gets the goal. Draisaitl the assist, and Bouchard with an assist as well. That's at 16:50. So for Draisaitl, only 3 points tonight. Now he's up to 20, and that's ridiculous, right? So this game ends up being 5-2. The Oilers go to 8-1. Nashville drops to 5-5. Again, I thought Nashville played well. It's just the Oilers are so deadly offensively right now. The shots 10-8 Edmonton in the first, 9 apiece in the second, 14-11 Nashville in the third. Final shots 31-30 in favor of Nashville. They went 1 for 4 on the power play. Edmonton 1 for 2. They're running around 50% on the season. They stay there. The hits 33-29 for Nashville. Ingram saves 25 out of 29 at one end. Koskinen, another good start for Mikko Koskinen. 29 saves on 31 shots. So while Mike Smith gets closer, Koskinen has been excellent so far this season, and it's another good start for him. So, yeah, big win for the Oilers. Next up, Columbus. So this is an interesting one that Columbus is in against Colorado, and this is a tough one because, I've talked about Johansson and said I thought that his time in Buffalo, there were remarks made about whether he was the worst goalie in the league and all this, and I thought, well, that seems a little bit rough. Tonight's game, not all of these goals were fantastic, and so the question has to be asked, when is Francouz coming back? I mentioned in the news of the day, he's apparently, maybe another 10 days out. they need that other goaltender. It's Korpisalo versus Johansson. Early on, the Avs get a power play. That didn't succeed. They got another power play as well. That also didn't succeed. So early on, they had the shots in their favor 7-3 after that second power play, but it's still scoreless, right? Bjorkstrand couldn't bury one. O'Connor had a chance that was stopped. O'Connor's been very impressive with his work ethic, and now he's starting to get the puck in the net as well. Byram fires one wide. Jenner then nearly gets one, hits the side of the net. Kadri had a shot blocked as the Avs pressed late. We go to the second period with this scoreless. Sillinger had a shot saved at 12 seconds, and then at 32 seconds, it's O'Connor from Kadri and Landeskog. So Sillinger close, and then O'Connor the other way, and it went over Korpisalo's shoulder on that one. Columbus then had a 2-on-1. Nyquist fires it wide. There's a press by Columbus. Johansson with the save there. Werenski had a rush chance that was saved. Things get kind of scrummy after that. Columbus had a 2-on-1. Eric Johnson defended that quite well. The shots are 9-5 for Columbus at the half. Columbus played a very good road game, but they're behind. Never got frustrated by that. Texier had a wraparound chance that wouldn't go. McKinnon with a rush chance that was stopped. And then Byram scores at 12:24 from Kadri and Landeskog. For Gabriel Landeskog, that is assist number 300 in his career. I was kind of surprised that the announcer didn't say that either. I didn't hear. The announcer just said Byram from Kadri and Landeskog. And so, yeah, I verified it's his 300th assist. O'Connor was denied as the Avs, it looked like, were taking over the game. They then get a power play, and the physicality, the unfriendliness between these teams is really picking up at this stage. The puck goes in, no goal, whistle went, pad was pushed in, doesn't matter, so there's no goal there. Columbus ends up surviving that power play. They allow 4 shots, and of course the pad being pushed in with the goal that doesn't count. And then, they reward their goaltender for all those saves. Jake Bean scores from Bjorkstrand and Peak at 16:55. In the last minute, Laine was denied by Johansson. So we go to the third period. The score is 2-1. No indication for what's about to happen. Sillinger scores from Voracek and Laine at 1:13, and it was a nice set play. Voracek just kind of flings it in front of the net, and Sillinger puts it in. Cole Sillinger, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not, he's getting close to that 10-game mark. Maybe they're going to send him to the minors. And by which I mean juniors. And it's like he's heard this speculation and gone, I'd better start getting some points, because boy, did he ever. Byram fires one high as the Avs tried to answer, but the shots were 6-0 Columbus at 4 minutes. And at 4:26, it's Cole Sillinger again with his second goal in 3 minutes and 13 seconds from Gabriel Carlson and Laine. Columbus then presses at 8 minutes. They get a goal at 8:56. It's Jenner from Nyquist. This was absolute siege by the Columbus Blue Jackets, and now they have the lead. And where you're really looking for big saves if you're Colorado and you're not getting them, now it's a 4-2 lead. From 16:55 of the second period to 8:56 of the third, 4 goals have gone into your net. Now you're behind 4-2. To their credit, Colorado doesn't give up. Some crazy action at the Columbus net. 9:30 left. Things get kind of punchy out of that. There was a post for Jake Bean, and it felt like this could get ugly. That if Columbus scored again and made it 5-2, this could get really ugly. But during the 6-on-5, this is where Colorado excels in this game. First, it's Compher from Byram and Kadri at 16:34. And then it's Byram with his second goal of the game, his third point of the game from McKinnon and Landeskog. So Landeskog with 3 helpers. He's at 301 assists on his career now. And that's at 19:08. So Colorado comes back from 4-2 down. They force overtime. In overtime, Columbus controlled on the faceoff, and they didn't really let up. Jake Bean scores the overtime winner at 1:12 from Voracek and Sillinger. So Sillinger with 3 points in this game. They win 5-4 in overtime. Columbus goes to 6-3. The Colorado Avalanche dropped to 4-4-1. I mean, they'll be glad that they got that point when they were down 4-2 with 4 minutes left, but still. On home ice, you really want that win in overtime. Shots were 12-10 Colorado in the first, 14-13 Colorado in the second, 13-6 Columbus in the third. Columbus had 1 shot in overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots 37-32 Columbus. Power plays, Columbus had none. Colorado had 3, didn't score on any of them. Hits were 15-13 Colorado. Korpisalo, 28 saves on 32 shots. Johansson, 32 saves on 37 shots. Again, might have been one or two in there that you're really hoping for a save and you don't get. So we'll see how things go for Colorado from here, but it felt like they were really getting it together. We'll see how things go for them after this game. All right, last game of the night. And this was St. Louis and LA. And really, the excitement for this game happens in the third. The first and the second period had some good moments, but the real excitement's in the third period. So first period, it's Binnington versus Quick. Kings had the early jump. Parayko with a blast that goes wide, and that's off of an Edler turnover. Blues in control after a slow start. The Kings get a power play. Their power play came into tonight 0 for 7 against the Blues. It does not get better tonight. And after that penalty kill ends, the Blues press. The shots were 7-4 in St. Louis's favor with 5 minutes left in the period. Tarasenko had a drive that was saved, but Buchnevich then had a rush chance that was stopped. So we go to the second period, 0-0 tie. Early Kings power play, it ends up being a 5-on-3.5 as Barbashev's stick gets broken. It also didn't help when his teammate passes it to him, not realizing his stick's broken at the time. So there was some hairy moments there. Shot blocks by the Blues, they end up killing it off. They then get a power play they score on. It's Shen from Tarasenko and Krug at 6:48. So Torrey Krug continues his really solid run lately. A lot of points, and he's been getting the odd goal here and there as well. And that was through traffic and a near miss for Quick. Jonathan Quick, 9 times out of 10 probably saves that one, right? Perron then had a shot that was saved. The Blues press with 3 minutes left. Saad had a break. Quick makes the save there. A penalty for Saad, though. So it's goalie interference. Problem is, I'm not sure how Saad was supposed to avoid hitting the goaltender as Edler shoved him into his goal. Like, Edler pushed him into the goalie. So you can argue, well, he didn't really try to change his trajectory, but he didn't really have the chance at the last moment because Edler's busy shoving him into the goalie. Normally, those aren't penalties. So there were shot blocks again by the Blues. Penalty kill. They do kill it off. So we go to the third period with St. Louis ahead 1-0. Blues finished off that kill, as I stated. The Kings get chances after that. There was a post for Wallman, and then it goes out of play. Moore with a break, couldn't bury it. And then Kaliev. Sweet snipe by Kaliev from Clegg and Edler at 6:16. And yeah, his second goal of the season, and things looking good for Kaliev there. Back and forth chances follow. Danault fires one wide. Iafallo was denied, but right after that, Kempe is not. He scores from Iafallo and Danault at 12:15. And so we're looking at a game that suddenly the Kings are ahead 2-1. The Blues press with 5.5 minutes left. Kupari takes a dive and Perron with the hook. So I've talked about this where I don't see how it can be a dive and a hook. In this case, yes. Kupari, it was after the hook, and he absolutely, there was a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then he falls down. So that was one where I go, you know what? That I get. That one I totally get. It's 4-on-4. Goalie pull with 2 minutes left. Krug blocks a Kopitar empty net goal chance. Kopitar also missed the empty net on this play too. And then 1 minute left. Well, Robert Thomas takes a penalty. So I'm like, so that should end it. 9 times out of 10, that'll end it, right? You're now shorthanded. You're starting in your own zone. There's 1 minute left. Well, they managed to get the goalie out so they can be 4-on-4. Remember, it was already 4-on-4 play before that penalty, so it was a 4-on-3 penalty. During that 4-on-4, it's Krug from Kyrou and Tarasenko at 19:51, and that really quieted down that LA Kings crowd. And so we go to overtime with it tied at 2. The Blues killed off the rest of that power play, and then the Kings got all the shots. Kopitar was denied. Brown had a shot that was saved. Kopitar denied again. Wanted a lot of opportunities. And with 2.2 left in the game, Philippe Danault absolutely robbed by Binnington. Binnington sends this to the shootout. In the shootout, both goalies struggled to stop pucks, and eventually Kaliev in round 4, he gets what would be the game winner as Braden Shen missed the net on his attempt at the other end. So Kaliev gets the winner for the Kings. They win 3-2 in the shootout. They go to 4-5-1 in the season. This is a 3-game winning streak now for LA. For St. Louis, they dropped to 6-1-1. They would have rather had the 2 points, but shootout loss is not the end of the world. And again, they salvaged a point with 9 seconds left. The shots in this one, 10-6 St. Louis in the first, 13-10 St. Louis in the second, 12-11 St. Louis in the third, and in the overtime, LA had all 8 shots. 8. Final shots were 35 apiece thanks to that overtime. Power plays, St. Louis 1 for 1, LA 0 for 4. So they end up finishing the season 0 for 11 against St. Louis. Hits 22 to 18 for St. Louis. Quick saves 33 out of 35. So does Binnington. So there you go. Both goalies were pretty good. Jonathan Quick is starting to make the argument that maybe he should be getting more starts. His numbers are a little better than Peterson's right now. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. But there you go. You guys are all caught up on tonight's action. Tomorrow night it gets a little busier again as there's 9 games on. And then on Friday it gets kind of quiet again. But, that's how it works during the regular season normally. Last year it was bizarre. It was bonkers. There were so many nights where I was like, okay, there's 10 one night and there's 11 the next. And it was really hair-raising. So, let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and just happened upon this video. I've got to wake my mouth up just for this last bit. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always, and I will talk to you again soon.